Guru Rana Mendra Lakani Adaya Sanje Chudan Soji Chana La Chanju Badu Dani Dagu Chijin Jive Sonam Je Androla Benje Sanje Ruva Sanje Chudan Soji Chana La Chanju Badu Dani Dagu Chijin Jive Sonam Je Androla Benje Sanje Ruva Sanje Chudan Soji Chana La Chanju Badu Dani Dagu Chijin Jive Sonam Je Androla Benje Sanje Ruva Lasang Lame Meda Miang Ji Omboda Jejin La Su Chu Chola Chawa Chapana Sanje Sumbara Tu Shin Dewe Juru Teta Shi Tebe Chun Dini Dire Shi Jiri Tebe Jejin Dere Je Sawe De Juba Teji Chabata La Chodu De Shin Kuwai Dire La Benya Jashin Jashin Sayin Mede Ambita La Leva Tu La Tuwe Sunyen Kien Amola Yekatan Lutan Lujan Kaya Chubuta Dam Yekana Chawa Kunji Rana Chisampa Tamja Kedu Dagu Che Jen Do No, no, so can't get on my danger down. Umilan to ten, you was soon just some Meva, Sanje de la Chata Lo. Oh, yada. That castle, Jinju Castle. Jidendana, Sewa Kanyeta. Dudan Dunga Chini, Yujuba. Taking that to Jimba Le Chunga, and Dejan de Godala Chishicha, Jenny. That's one I see in Jenny. Jidenji Kamla. 那段剧看着这个来点呢，吃哇，几点段呢？吃哇抗药吧。俺呢，东亚当都当东亚青年也就吧，打东亚青年吧也吧就，没都把它东亚青年也吧就吧。这个看着来点呢，中华人是那，俺呢当时马上把它来点呢，中华人是。别说，这些帝国当了继续吃，嗯。
So there's a verse in the Bodhicharyavatara, the introduction to the Bodhisattva's way of life, and it says that whatever kind of harm arises in the world, whatever kind of suffering occurs for people in the world, whatever problems arise in the environment or for the beings that inhabit the world, all of that arises from grasping at the self, and that being so, what should I do to this devil?
Oh yeah, that thing got us some gore, sana. Around Jula, Mideba, Dunga, Nijis, Neladen, Sawa Chentang. Gigi some yellow Sawa, Nijig Sawa Kandang, can't show my day. I know Kawala than a chongare, and I know dancing Maribala than a chongare.
So this is saying that whatever kind of harm or problems, harm that arises for us, and whether it arises from the environment or from other sentient beings, then all of that arises for us from the ignorance which grasps at the self.
气象那些钱，天这位当成马里巴的七十年哇，七十多，俺那东亚街上现在买了的，这他有人经济抓住吧，你比错了配为九七步，那个年了，我那啥呢？考完前面搞我考了就是之前呢，进去拿来说那些就他妈没办呢，有人不军吃吧，俺那让了那边接我给抓几步。 这他有人军家抓学吧是，天这位当成的人呢，俺那当成体跟那那个恰当毛松接，毛松恰当毛松体往给俺那的东亚巴都没把中华去把延长，这他有人军家抓学吧，你比错了配为国际部。
So this ignorance which grasps at the self is the enemy which has remained within us. For a long time, from without any beginning, this enemy has existed within us without any beginning at all. And so, since that is the source of all of the suffering that arises for us,
때 말이다. 대다 유린 굉장히 자주봐 내비 소라 피비 뒤집고 봐. 내비 속 내가 탐제. 단지 말이 발라 때나 차다 모습지. 차다 모습 뒤 왕게 안에 동아 봐도 매 봐중아. 다때 거래에서 나 단지 말이 봐 내비 소라 피비 뒤집고.
It's this ignorance which grasps at a self then is the sole cause of all of the desire, other forms of ignorance, desire, anger, and so forth, and all of the mental afflictions. And also, therefore, it gives rise to all of the suffering, whatever kinds of harm that befalls us arises from this sole cause.
Oh, yeah. Maybe Sora Baby Dujibo, Darkin and Yawa China, Coachman Gawa Kala Juru, Satenda with dancing Maria Badi, and the rank Simula Ma, Nena. I know Casare, Koyumaji Jazo Chimbotella.
So as long as that cause exists within us, how can we pass over the ocean of samsara? This is saying then that as long as this is existing within us, there's no method by which we can achieve liberation from the ocean of samsaric existence.
Oh, 동아 탐제지사와다 가상 그냥 좀 하고 터만나신 전에 어느 가서래 당신 말이봐 당신 말이봐 안생이 직다되게 아니라라 팬도비 소지 아니라라 내가 셔봐인장 노종 천자콜 가수가 되는송도와 대달래면 저 다기시 잠내로비 총군 다기시 아라운드 진에 루비 저원이 게마 당진 뒤인 태소매 세가라 대달라면 저어디 따라라 내가 토마 매번에 내가 제외 동화라 주지 동화라 봐 동화 냥도 중간에 수레세나 다 저어 당진들이 대달라면 저어 다기시.
So that kind of enemy or this ignorance which grasps at a self, which is equivalent to the wrong view that grasps at the aggregates as an I, takes the I as the object and grasps at the collection of the aggregates as an I. That sort of mistaken conception is existing within us for a long time, and it gives rise to all of the different kinds of problems that we experience, so that whatever kinds of suffering that we have, it arises from this enemy.
Oh yeah, 가소래. 대달라면 저거 다기시. 잠내 루비 총군 다기싱. 다 잠내서 가려고 그러다. 가려고 그래. 감님 명의 비추지 용이. 감님에서나 당신의 명의 비추지 봐 용이. 아니 라니 매봤어요. 팬토비 소지. 감내 용인데 아니 가서 잠내 루비 아니 총군
So this robber, which is the enemy of the grasping at a self, that has taken control of us, has grasped onto us, has seized us. And when the way this approaches us is by doing so in a kind of a secretive fashion. It approaches in a kind of in a sneaky sort of way.
Around the lower chavani, Gemma dancing the Tesum May, Senata, Rangla Panto with Sochi. And it ran lower cheva, rather never changandi, that dancing the lesson, you are married.
So there's no other enemy that sneaks up on us in this way that acts as if it's trying to help us, but in fact is coming upon us to harm us in this way. Other than that, there's no other enemy that does that kind in this way.
Oh, 인산다 마란졸라 가소레 기보용야단 두보용야 그 싸와데. 당신 말이 발라 라래고 말해. 당신 말이 비 샤완도 소나 아니 동아지 라신래 매와 당신 되게 자와 채수나 아니 대화 주고와 인장 아니 하고서
기독
기보단 뭐야 기독의 자와 라니라 기독의 자와데 당신 말이 봐그 샤완도 소나 아니 동아 용할래 매봐 인장 동아래만 맞대봐 당신 말이 봐데 아니 가서래 매봐서 또 봐지 주나 아니 대화 용해 와
So this 기독이 자와
기보 용해다 동아 용해 대도 용해구나 대도 용해가 자와데 당신 말이 봐그 샤완도 소마 손라래 거래스 와 So
the very foundation of all of our happiness, any kind of, or the suffering that we experience, whether we experience happiness or suffering, it is based on whether or not we are controlled by this ignorance which grasps at a self. That is the condition for determining whether or not we experience happiness or suffering. So here it says that the very root or basis of all happiness and suffering is determined by whether or not we come under the control of this ignorance which grasps at a self. If we are under the control of this type of ignorance that grasps at a self, then we'll experience all kinds of suffering. We might imagine that this is coming from people outside of ourselves, but in reality, it's arising from within ourselves. And similarly, any kind of happiness that we experience will occur as a result of not being dominated or controlled by this ignorance which grasps at a self.
Oh yeah, that. Oh, 당진 자원에 봉화 쳐발라 아니 돈이 더 비다와 그래 다 돈이 더 비다와 그래라야 돈이 아니 가장을 쓰는 그래 그와 가장을 쓰 대인자다 동반이 아니 지난 공고 탐제 랑신지 동나 아니 규제라 미대바가 마와기 아니 가서라 란데 대다기 되주디 레바를 셰와 체네
So this being the case, that all suffering arises from grasping at the ignorance which grasps at a self, then we have to eliminate that. It's necessary for us to stop it from operating. In order to do that, one must understand emptiness. There's no other method than the understanding of emptiness to cease this. To do that, one has to properly identify what emptiness is. And in this context, then, there are members of other schools of philosophy that misapprehend the nature of emptiness and then attribute all sorts of faults to us. And so we have to clear those kinds of erroneous conceptions away.
네 rabjini shiba junji meja bitem joba dela deshi meja joba shuba da newa meja joba kujo sum meja joba summa chi gala da ka san kujo sum joba kujo sum meja joba ka du de mai imba ye san chira
So up above we had the subdivision of the text, which describes the different kinds of arguments that these other philosophers attribute, or the arguments that they make, claiming that that if things are empty, then it would be impossible for cause and effect to obtain. If cause and effect do not obtain, then it would be the case that the four Arya truths or Arya realities would not exist, would not be justifiable. And if that was the case, then the results, the practitioners that engage in the path in those different kinds of ways and then abide in the results of the path would not exist. And then we've gotten to the point where a further argument that they make is that the three jewels would not be justifiable or would not exist.
Oh yeah, that might be true. That could be the about the Tango shop the chinso. Had the Jew Kasaja Tadamana Kundime, Pabi Kundim maybe chili, Pabi Dana maybe chit and be church. Yema yin, see Gala, Oda Shubashi. So Shubashi, Serigana, Jushu Shuba, a Chon Shuba, Chimon Shuba, Dajun Shuba. Oh, any Jushu Dene, Chon Dene, Chimon Dene, Dajum Dynasty. Any Shuba Shitan, Revu Shide, Dene Shide, Kansa Jabo Teta Mena, and a Kundukujamakures. Kadi, any Kasore, publish Demashi Meba Yinza, Kansa Jabo de Mena, and a Papa Namji Namsu Lenjaki, Tabi Church and Yogamare.
So yesterday we covered the beginning of this roughly. We did an overview of this, and this is explained in the verse which says that if the eight types of person were non-existent, then the Sangha would be non-existent, and because the Arya realities would be non-existent, and if that was the case, then the noble dharma would also be non-existent. So, as it says in the commentary on this, that if the four types of person here, there are four types of beings, here referring to the four types of persons who have commenced towards achieving the four results of becoming a stream winner, a once returner, non-returner, and an arhat, and then the four types of person who are situated in those results, have attained those results, wouldn't be non-existent. And if those eight persons were non-existent, then the Sangha, the precious Sangha, or the Sangha jewel would be non-existent also.
Chöse de tambi chöya ba minas tambi chöse na jidan chökunjo sana gwalam kanu gwalam ji o de banjang wo su jomba cheba ge nyembo paje me nyembo lamden taedang banja taedang chawi chawa anu gwaden de da chökunjo ngo tein ba de tambi o tenda wi tambi chö de ya ba mai na ani sanje chida ya ba jude ya ba juri chewa de minju de Gundan, Gunsatan, and then Gundan Dembaki, Sanjay, Ani Yavala, Gun Sachik, Lamdetan, Guntetan, Travis, Sajakopa, the Yokorawa. Yinza Yaba Minjuti, Tambi Chedan, Segala, Golam Niwo de Chukujong. Tedan Jesu Timbi Cheji said, Lungu Chukujo. Rawa Chukundo, Dadabi Chukujo, Lungu Chukujo, Jesu Timbi. Jesus to be checking and then and it shut on the two chubales. Oh, Chukunjong, Jinding, Chetaki, turned out two chubale, over the ten, and it's unjust to go great.
So it says then, if the noble dharma was non-existent, then, and if it was the case that the dharma and the sangha were non-existent, then how could there be Buddhas? How could Buddhas exist? And so here, where it's referring to dharma, it's the actual or sort of a definitive dharma jewel is the dharma as it's which consists of cessations and the paths that lead to the cessations. So the cessations are the results, and the paths are the things which enter one into those results, or engage one in those results. So here it's referring to true cessations refers to the separation from some portion of the obstacles, and then the path refers to the process of proceeding towards that, especially the uninterrupted paths that lead to those kinds of cessations. So those are the dharma, which is the dharma of the realizations, and that's the sort of actual, the definitive dharma, or the sort of definition of the dharma jewel. And then the other sorts of dharma, the dharma which is scriptural, is given the name of being the dharma jewel because it is the teaching that clarifies and illuminates the first two, the cessations and path. And then if that dharma did not exist, then the Buddhas could also not exist, because it's only by means of effort towards the dharma, or effort that they've exerted for the noble dharma and the dharma which accords with that, that the Buddhas have come to comprehend all phenomena and become Buddhas.
Oh yeah, that ni tambi che mena sanje meba juwa mase. Gundi meba yina yang sanje chita yeba juti menjure. Wa gundi memba na mena sanje chita yeba menjuwa de su de la xiche. Wa ta tambo de gundi ji nyawar temba le slang tangdo ji nyawar temba la tene ani chugutuji ji ishi ge chodang. Ani gindila yenguwa la sinjere tela buwa dang gindila rimdo cheba dang sanje la cheba buwa dang ani sanje la rimdo cheba dang sanje la gindila ani jaksun rowa la soba ke sonam gu so saba le sanje toku gure sita di bada wa ishi ge chodang tela buwa dang tela rimdo cheba dang jamdo la soba ke shiwo tegi. So
how is it that how would it be the case that if the Sangha was non-existent, that where the opponent here is saying that if the Sangha is non-existent, then how could there be Buddhas? So what is the way in which there would not be Buddhas? There are four reasons for that. Four ways in which there would be no Buddhas. The first of these is that it's from the instruction of the Sangha that a person engages in develops the collection of gnosis, which is the cause which enables one to actualize the Dharmakaya. So without the Sangha, one cannot, there's no instruction that it would enable one to do that. And then likewise, one has to become a Buddha, has to make offerings to the Sangha, and also has to perform service to the Sangha, and go for refuge to the Sangha. And all of those function to enable one to accumulate the collection of merit. And so the collection of merit and the collection of gnosis and the collection of merit are necessary for one to obtain Buddhahood.
Oh yeah. That is Yang as Gundi Mena Asri. Gundi Mena Sanja Melku Dunzende. Yang Asini, that Yana Jaguar de Carrera, this year to the Logaji Bata. Gundi Mena Jusula, Jundu Shubala Soa Mela, 규슈소 대당하는 마도반에 산제 토바 마인 시간라 주내 제보된 것도 마도발라 산제 토바 마인 세디게 다 티바신보 산제 이까르 미던게 저와 팀에만도 티바신보 산제 이까르 미도바기 아니다 란데 대다기 아니 좀 된데 가소리 특제 매와 인자다 먼저 규슈 차장원선 되고 아래 가래서다 규슈라 소비도 원도 톱니 가서 좀 된데 다 대를 차장원선 제 치원이 마 토엔 바래 치명원이 어디니 제가라 걔네 시부 가서지 마도 발라 아니 가서래 산제 토바 매바 인장 근데 맨날 규슈라 소바 매라 대당아 마도 발라니 대당 마도바네 산제 토바 마이데 좀된 대자 되면서 대우가실라 슈비치로 세가나 다좀비 대우라 슈바레 라타 좀비 대우라 슈네 아니 다좀 대우 토바레 어티스과레.
So another reason why there would be no Buddhas if there was no Sangha is that if there were none of the people applying themselves towards the results, such as applying themselves towards commencing towards becoming a stream winner and so forth, if those types of persons were non-existent, then because it's the case that without obtaining those sorts of, becoming those sorts of persons previously, there's no way to become a Buddha. Here, this is being explained from the point of view of some of the Shravaka philosophical Shravaka schools that hold that a person must definitely obtain one of the four, at least one of the four statuses of being a stream enterer or a once returner or non-returner. At least one has to achieve the status of being a once returner in order to actualize Buddhahood, and then which for them means to become an arhat. So according to their position, it's indubitably the case, it's definitely the case that the Bhagavan Buddha must have directed himself towards one of those results, must have commenced towards achieving one of those results.
That's why. Yana Jumden Dejan, the Chatan to do Shanti Chatiganam. Yana Jumden Dejan, Milo Bukundi Yendi, said the Loa than Miloa said, Ninju Pambi Chit Love Govana, Lama Lokoana Loas. Young Vidra Pambi Chit Lama Lomigoana Miloas, Ninju Pantara in Zang, Jumden Milo Bukundi Yendi, Sanjela Sova, Gelongu Gundi, she, there were Kachikujobataro, Teramavi, Sanjela Sova, the Gelongu Gundi race, there were Kachikujobat, Nashi race. T. Lutana, Gundi Mena Sanja Meba Chesaro, Sekta Karesana, Sanja Gelongu Gundi, Yinse Gala Gundi Mena, and Sanja Mebate Saure.
So an alternative way in which this argument could be made is that the Bhagavan himself, the Bhagavan Buddha himself, was a Sangha who is not in the course of training. Here, their Sangha is divided into those who are in the course of training, who are in the process of training, and Sangha who are no longer training themselves. Here, the training is differentiated by whether or not one is in the process of getting rid of the mental affliction obscurations. When one has not yet gotten rid of the the obscurations which are mental afflictions, then one is counted as a Sangha who is undergoing training. When one has gotten rid of those mental afflictions, then one is a Sangha, according to this system, Sangha who is not training anymore. So therefore, the Buddha, etc., must be it must be a monk a monk of the Sangha. Some schools assert this sort of position. And according to that system, then if there's no Sangha, then it's quite clear that there could not be a Buddha, because the Buddha is part of the Sangha.
다 대화까지 그 저바 차오 세대 다가 인사를 와 밀로와 생각이 산제 대화까지 그 안에 산제 좀 된데 밀로의 군디래 그런 군디래 대화까지 처럼하고 코랑 순도 지가나 군디당 산제 생각인데 대단 카가리 좀 된데 산제 말했을 거래 그러와 좀 된데 군디야 말했을 거래 좀 되는 산재 가려서나 산재수 체비 체제 안에 사바다 미제와 시비 이시대 산재래 군디수 체비 체제대 아니 군디고 지지 사매기 샤와대 군디고 레스 산재 바바 동아대 말에 동아대 말에 제라마 코란시카나 와 어디 인상 내가 디송한테 대화 같이 세야대 대준자대 말에 제라마 와기 안에 좀 되는데 가소래 산재수 캘랭거 말이 ora 산재수가 산재기 시길에 되면 가사 사거를 만도 아니 가소래 산재신스가 말이 산재수가 코랑 규지 산재수 체비 체제 아니 세바다 미제바시비 이시에서 샤거 말이
세바단 쉐버치
세바다 미제바시비 이시 넘버 탐제치마 쓰고 말이
So this, where it says some schools express it this way, we have to differentiate this sort of position from that of the Vaibhashikas, because the Vaibhashika school holds that the Bhagavan, the person who was the Bhagavan, is not a Buddha. They would say that such a person 좀 된데 상기 말레스 겐둔 레스
군디야 말이 군디나 산제세라 군디스 치비 체제대당 산제스 치비 체제 세바다 미제와 시비 산제리나 산제 치비 체제지체 군디라이나 군디구지 사mek 시와티
So they say, the Vaibhashikas would assert then that the Bhagavan was not an actual Buddha, and likewise it would not be included within the Sangha. For them, the actual Buddha, awakened one, is the phenomena which consist of the true cessations, the knowledge of the extinction of the contaminants, and then also the Sakmegi Sheva.
군디스나 군디리 체비지가나 파베 강사티 강사테다 그 규지 사맥이 시와데 군디 체비 체제
So they would say that for the Buddha, would be the actual Buddha would be the sort of knowledge of the extinction of the contamination that exists within the continuum of such a person. So the actual Buddha refers to that knowledge within the continuum of the Bhagavan, and then the same thing within the Sangha applies for the Sangha applies, the true Sangha applies to the knowledge of the extinction of the contaminations that exist within the continuum of those persons.
줍다 고랑 뛰어나 좀 전에 가진 잠에서도 소사가 쓰고 알때 구제될 공로 제시단 말을 수도고 말해. 저 소사비도 어디라. 어디 줍다 뛰어. 안에서 이제 고랑 동아된 바인방 알안 집바인방. 무슨데
So they also say then that the body of the Bhagavan is a true suffering, is a part of the truth of suffering, and these sorts of positions are the faults of their philosophical system that they have created, because then it becomes inconceivable, unintelligible of why the Buddha spent 3 countless eons accumulating a collection of merit, if all they're producing is they're not producing the body, the form body of a Buddha, but are just producing a contaminated body like ours. It's just the same as ours.
Lumpama Dumba Chapa Tani, Shichambole, Lucy Nagasumado. Ani Tibachu be saying Namsha. Lucy goes to Tibachu be saying Namsha Tamba Le. Chanju Sabasa Tambola never, Tommy Lam Jawa Mawane, Tommy Lam Jawa Mawana, Ani Satambotawana, Tonam Jawana, Ani Gundi Kus, Gundi Kuja Tawara, Gundi Kus Tawa Dedos. Papa, Tonam to Jagal, Papa. Teaching Papa Torah, and you can do
so then there's another school, which is called those who recite the intermediate scripture, a little translation of that. And here this probably refers to the Mahayana teachings of the middle wheel of Dharma. And so they're within the Mahayana in that respect. But this school, they have a text which is called the Mahavastu, and in that text, it says that it presents it gives a presentation of the stages of the Bodhisattva stages, and in that it says that a Bodhisattva who's situated on the first Bodhisattva level or stage has given rise to the path of seeing. They say that, and because they say that, they include such a Bodhisattva within they assert that such a Bodhisattva is included within the Sangha.
Oh yeah, 대단한 대단히 최사로 대단히 년된 대위 접아이바 다 제라마와 그 접아이베 뒤리지 기다 아니 제라마와 고랑 그 뒤수 기다 와신도 접아인 소하다.
So even according to that position as well, then this same position would the same sort of consequences would be are quite clear. And then all of these above, since these are arguments which are made by the Shravaka schools, that's why it's this has been expressed according to their systems.
대지 동반이지 된 대가도 많아. 예바가바다 랑가 중화당. 예바가와당 랑가 중화당. 소남 충완남지 대당 미대바人당 치위 치나 스타데 군조 세게 된다들이. 봐. 예바가와당 랑가 중화당. 봐. 중화군지 팀매지 투den치다 견주지 연주치나创意都是그 단위 디나미카도 전화 중화군지 처매치랬어요. 어때인장 예바 가와당 랑가 중화당 아니 소는 충원 남지 아니 군조다 미태바당 렌당 체위체나 군조 순보 오네스 군조 순보 산제당 최당 군디라 내바 체바 이노 스타 투스라고 하래.
So they say then because of these positions that they hold, which is that if things are empty, the cause and effect cannot be related. Things can't arise and they cannot disappear or cease. And if that's the case, then there would be none of the people who, the Four Noble Truths would not obtain. And then if that was the case, then the the people who are commenced on towards the result, and the people who have achieved the result, those would not exist. If those don't exist, then the Dharma would not exist. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha would not exist. So according to their position then, if the root text here says that people who talk about emptiness create great harm to the three jewels. Here the commentary explains that, therefore, they say that when one speaks of this emptiness, then it creates a great harm towards the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And then these are the three jewels, or three precious ones. Here, the preciousness of the three jewels is explained as which means that they're difficult to obtain is one property, that they only arise occasionally, that those persons who have little merit cannot come into contact with them, and that they have a great value. These four qualities are properties of the three jewels, and that's why they're precious. The three precious ones, or the three treasures, one could even say, are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And if one talks about emptiness like this, then one is harming all three of them.
탐제주나도 뒤위치를 뒤체 탐제도 뒤위치를 최탐제 자원 제우여바당 다자기 군조섬라 내반이 최진 제우여바당 최마인당 최니당 지된바이 탄년이 군라 내바 쳐바인 시간라 최탐제랑 그 천이 주베 동가 많아 다처 탐제 랑시랑 그 천이 동변한도 뒤와 인장 아니 가르레에서나 개부여바당 최마인바 춘이당 시간라 두 최마인바 미개와당 최개와 이지 대부 미개위 대부 이드명와당 개외 대부 이동와 용이 내고래 와 지난 공원나랑 그 천이 주에 또나 아니 지된바이 타나니 꿀라네 바샤바인 세데 대우여바다 최마마인바다 춘이다 세데 개와다 미고세체 지된바이 타냐니 세가는 지된비 타냐 차와디단디 시식 세디단디 소식 아니 내디단 두루 송식 제위 아니 제와라 소와기 아니 차와디다양 소와라 탐제 아니 디나들 탐제기 난도 뒤위실 대다 꾸일라 너바 쳐봐 임배 아니 지난 경우 탐제랑 그 천이지 동반이 지가 때문에 추대 밀레서 전이다 응마왜 주고 와래
우메마와 치고를
응마와다 막에 오마 제라마와서 와
So then the text continues here that it says with another argument that they make, which is that the argument that cause and effect, etc., would be unjustifiable or unacceptable. And then the root text here says that the existence of results, as well as dharma and non-dharma, and all of the worldly conventions, you are harming them. That is, here it's the lower schools, the philosophers of these lower schools of Buddhist philosophy are reproaching the Madhyamikas by saying that you are doing harm to the existence of results, to the existence of dharma and non-dharma, and as well as all worldly conventions, you're harming them. And then as far as what these are, then the non-dharma refers to non-virtue, and dharma refers to virtue, and then the results that come out of these two, non-virtue and virtue, are the things which are desirable or attractive, and things which are unattractive, undesirable. And as far as the worldly conventions are concerned, worldly conventions are such that comprise everything that exists, and so such as statements like "do this," "make this," "sit here," "go there," "come here." All of those sorts of conventions are included within phenomena. And therefore, one is harming all of those. The person who's doing this sort of harm is a person who asserts that that emptiness, so-called emptiness, means that all phenomena are not established by means of intrinsic identity, their intrinsic identity. And if one says that kind of thing, then one does harm to causality, including the cause and effect of dharma and non-dharma, and as well as all worldly conventions. So they make this kind of harsh criticism towards the Madhyamakas, saying that when you teach this emptiness, it's not good.
Yeah. 그래서 다테 당가를 잡지 당보네 잡지 당보네 예송그 바르지 안에 친한 그최 탐제랑 그 천이지 주의 안에 라신 매봐 리바 안 남자 망복이 권에 때라 파바레스 때라 파빌세레 태코나 못 때라 파빌세나 태코나 주 모두 제비 리베스 라신지 주 모두 태코나 주 모두 제비 리베기 안에 지난 그 처는 랑그 천이 주와 까바 인장 안에 진주라서 랑그 천이 주와 까바 인장 진주당 친조라서 랑그 천이 주와 까바 인장 진주다 친조라서 왜 자체 탐제 까고 냠네 안에 권에 샤바기 중지 미대바당 대시 미대바당 슈바다 내와 미대바당 군조스 미대배 접발라서 와 접었다 드레스 용아레스.
So then this argument, or all of these arguments that they're making here, arise from their thinking that misconceiving what has been expressed above. In the previous expositions or chapters of the text, from the 1st through the 23rd, all phenomena, whether they're inner or outer, all phenomena have been established as being devoid of a nature which is established by means of their own intrinsic identity. And when that has been established in those earlier chapters, and when by means of the reasoning which investigates whether or not things are established in reality or not, as real in reality or not, then they think that this negates all things, all of the inner and outer phenomena of which would arise or disintegrate, that they would the existence of bondage and liberation, that all of the actions and agents of these phenomena would be negated.
Oh yeah, that thing, that you get the Jungxia Badan, Zobata Lan Yu Bin, Zobata Chintan, that did my landing, but
So we've completed then in terms of the subdivisions of this exposition of in the text, this chapter, we've completed then the argument that is being made against the Madhyamaka position, and.
然的啦，先进漫画等中给等中先进，俺们这把漫画的等中给马多，听你马多比这把单吧，让给些把当把等中给听到单吧，台他没得把了，那下他就没得比出当，等中给听你通完了，电视听你通完就啊，是的，是不是事情？
So there's 4 subdivisions of the reply that is made to that sort of argument. First, there's an explanation that which is being said by the others here, the opponents, is an argument based on not understanding that the reality, not understanding the reality of dependent origination. And then the second subdivision is that our own position, our own assertion is that the meaning of emptiness, or the meaning of being empty, is the meaning of dependent origination, an exposition of that. And the next one is that how that if one doesn't accept it like that, if one has not accepted that any sort of presentation of things becomes unjustifiable, impossible. And then finally that someone who sees the reality of dependent origination sees the reality of the 4 Arya realities or Arya truths.
他谈不先进漫画等中给太宽那年马多比这把单把太那样，先进规比卷上了没就比出钱，你也比那呢，先进规比上卷上了没就比出的了，卷进没就比军战当，卷进什么也比那呢，卷进没就比军战的了，卷进没就比军战那样，天数马多比这把单把当，太大这边电视多把单把你也比那呢，但天数马多比这把漫画太了。
So then this section of the text is subdivided into multiple subdivisions, which is that the first of these, the explanation that what others are saying is an argument based on not understanding the reality of emptiness, which is this explanation is divided into 2 parts, which is showing how the fault that has been attributed to us by the other schools does not apply to us, and that and then the second part of that is that that fault applies to the person who is presenting this accusation or fault, him or herself. Then that first subdivision has 2 parts, which is has 3 parts, so showing that the reason why the fault does not, the accusation does not apply to us, is not applicable to us, and the actual exposition of how the accusation doesn't apply. Then showing the third subdivision of that, showing how not only is this position, our position, without fault, but it has good qualities. Then the first of those is subdivided again into 2, that showing how this is an argument based on misunderstanding 3 things, and showing how someone who argues in that way doesn't understand the 2 truths. The first of those has the first subdivision of those of these is that showing how the exposition of how this argument is based on not understanding 3 things.
Oh yeah, that is what do it about that. Tell us about changing it. Don't you go down? Don't you down? Don't you turn your motto bar? Said tell us about say Canada. Come to Shabachi. Ani oh, my mother, Devataki. Ani turn or Tomani Jim. Tomani Temple Gawatang. Tomani Jim all time. Turn can't never so net Tomani to shave it. Tomani turn. 오다 대승부티세나 텔라시바 추진이 돈이 거다 돈이 당도 마도베 대제타다 너바인 that's what.
So the reply to those who make this argument against us is expressed in the next verse, which says that you who make this sort of explanation, which has been given above, this is referring to members of realist philosophical schools, the philosophical schools that are realist in nature. And it said that you don't understand the purpose of emptiness. You don't understand emptiness, and you don't understand the meaning of emptiness. And by not understanding that, you are harmed in this way, and then you are harmed in this way. And so here the commentary explains that you, meaning the realist philosophers, don't understand the purpose of the teaching of emptiness, don't understand the nature of emptiness. They don't understand what meaning is being considered when emptiness is being explained. So the meaning of emptiness in the context of how emptiness is being explained, because you don't understand that.
최기 니 동반이 때문에 거와당 동반이 지오 더 강한 예ව라서 내 동반이도 세바기 동반이지 더 마도바기 군전 대치나 뭐마와 최니 뭐마와 체라니라 안에 내바래 시도 내바 인데 안에데 가서래 라시지 메나 때문에도 매바기 매거와기 로비 군도 나서바 남지 안에 체랑 냠바래.
So here it says, you, here's referring to realists, because you have not understood the meaning of, you have not understood the purpose of the teaching on emptiness, you have not understood the nature of emptiness, you have not understood what meaning what the meaning of emptiness is in the context of what sort of meaning of emptiness has been taken up in the context of explaining emptiness, and because of that, you are greatly harmed. And the harm here is that you are ruined by various sorts of perverse imagination.
냠바이노 대양 추지랑게 남도 코네 아니 랑근 남도가 돌아야 되라 랑근 오니지 추비 동비 랑신 매비 텐데 칸데질레 세나 때문에 되는 소니 자 매비 때문에 텐도 때나 매비 텐이 냠도 대다 동바니지 텐 로바를 돌아다네 자 또바도 마음 로바 돌아다네 라시지 매비 텐데 동바 매비 텐도 손에 아니 가데지다 군데나 중앙미지 주반미 제기 계란기 아니 우마와라 량가 마신 코라 체지 미가와나 너바이노 계란
So it says here, this is the realists then imagine that if things are empty, that there can't be, things can't arise and cease, they can't exist. And so then here the continuation of the reply is that furthermore, you realists, based on your own ideas, have come up with the idea that something being empty of being established by means of its own essence means that something is, which is the meaning of essencelessness. You've come to think that means, has the meaning of non-existence. You think that it means non-existence. And by having perversely exaggerated the meaning of emptiness in that way, you think that, or you say that if all these things were empty, then they would not arise and would not disappear, would not disintegrate. You make that sort of reproach to us Madhyamikas, and you, since you have greatly distressed us, you are harming us.
Oh yeah, that then tell Angar Raja Jojabi Kausu. Tada Jola Jova Nitomba Niji Kapa Churu, say Gana, Sumi Yijiki, Namdola, Dene, and a Dembatsi Tinzingi Jova. Tender with Tinzingi Jova de, and a Tony Tobala, Dene, Tomba Nitovala, Dene, Tinzingi Jova Kapa. Yana Tombani, that is Chimoya, Tombani Kapa, Jurushi. Chaman Zimba said Chama Zimbi Zawa Demba Truva Zimba Marashi Truva Zimbi Chama Zimbi Truva Maluba and in Neva Shivi to Tony Yimba Shabana Saraji Kato. Chuji Rashiji don't be turned in Meba Yina Zimbana Da Trevi Trawa Kona Bewa Chebe, said Dinzing Treva Bewa Cheba Yimbe, Tani Tony Dembi Goa dem Mashabare Tony Well,
so here it says that regarding that, previously in the 18th chapter, it was said that all of these arise that So those elaborations that come from elaboration, here the elaboration that gives rise to elaborations is the incorrect kind of judgment which superimposes essence onto things. And based on that kind of elaboration, then all of the other kinds of elaborations arise. And then all of those elaborations that arise from that sort of elaboration is ceased by emptiness. So where it says that, that statement in the 18th chapter indicates that since it's explained that all of the elaborations which are grasping at the signs of things. Here, signs refers to things existing by means of their own essence or by means of their own intrinsic identity. That emptiness is taught for the purpose of pacifying all of those elaborations, completely pacifying them. And you here, the opponent, since you've grasped at the meaning of emptiness of essence as non-existence, then you have simply increased, expanded the net of elaboration, and by doing that, you have not understood the purpose of the teaching of emptiness.
That's right. Oh yeah. That did Tony go at the That don't buy anything, oh, Sena. Don't buy anything, oh, ni. Xianmi xianle xiawatang, 这就这告诉。xianle xianmi xiawatang 是的，xianle xianmi 是干了。学说就告诉，当年我都去生活那，是啦，当年我什么都倒闭，安尼，伢下去生活，当年人家把下边伢下去生活那。Rabri mebe tasha nawa zamyang matonga taras migraru jilla batan trawaki ani tasha zaba nawa zamyang matonga nashings rawa niso na yu trawa tamja loba se gana chenyu ngosum du sibi nyamsha ki singoro ani ninang ku trawa tamja lobi rangshin du shala rawa nyamsha ki singoro chenyu 무슨도 주비치 냠샤기 천이 세비 생어로 아니 가서 니난 거 좋아하던지 로바.
So this, as far as the nature of emptiness is concerned, there's a statement again in the 18th chapter above, where it says that it's not known from another and it's peaceful. So that section of the text in the 18th chapter explains that within the perspective of someone who has direct perception of reality, just as someone who is without the eye disease which causes falling hairs to appear before the eye, someone who doesn't have that kind of eye disease does not even see even the appearance of those falling hairs. Similarly, so within the perspective of someone who is seeing reality with direct perception, they just like that, all of within that sort of perspective, or within that sort of perspective, all of the elaborations of the dual appearance have stopped. And that is the nature which is seen within the perspective of that direct perception of reality. La nisunangwi druba tamchi lokpe rangshin dushe. Lokpe rangshin dushe. Rangshin chuni.
Druba tamchi lokpe rangshin dushe las. Druba tamchi lokpe rangshin se kana nyamsha ki chuni sibi singoro ninang ki druba lobam.
So here the nature, which is explained, which is the reversal or stoppage of all the elaborations of duality, dual appearance, that's referring to within the perspective of the gnosis, which is absorbed in meditative concentration on emptiness. None of the elaborations appear, but only this nature, which is emptiness, appears to it.
인자 냠샤기 슈니 시비 싱or 니난 그 저와 선냠샤스나 저와 로바디 슈니체 저와 슈니 니난 그 슈니 시비 싱or 아니 니난 그 저와 매바 군조 매바지 슈니체.
So the nature here is referring to the non-appearance, or the reversal or aversion, the elimination of the appearances of duality, which refers to seeing any kind of conventional things within that.
대인상 기다와 침에 남진기 싱을 이낭 들어와서 군속에 나와 여체. 지다와 또비 남진기 천이시비 싱을 군속에 나와 매봐.
So therefore, within the perspective of the omniscience, which is seeing things as they are, the appearances of conventional things do not appear, but nevertheless, that knowledge, that omniscient knowledge knows those things, those conventional things.
인자 지다와 또 남진기 싱으로 아니 대만이가 여거와데 가르 지다와서 남진기 대만이가 시와라 봐. 시와 인자 지다도 남진기 싱으로 대만이가 여체. 다 지다와 또 남진기 아니 신이 시비 싱으로 아니 다 군도 대만매 전달 대만만도매.
So then, within the perspective of this,
지다와도 남진기 싱어당 지다와도 남진기 신이 시비 싱어로 아니 군도 매 대만매. 군도 대만매 바데 아니 돈이래 니난 거 좋아 매 바데 돈이래 군도 대만데 니난 거 좋아라 와.
So within the perspective then of this, the omniscience, which is observing things as they are, within the portion of that which is observing the reality, the nature of things. then the phenomenal truths do not appear. The phenomenal truths here are the elaborations which arise, and so since those concept
기타와 또비 남진기 신호로 문조 담바다 전다 담바니가 요아래 기타와 또비 남진기 천이 세비 신호로 전다 담바마도 군조 요아마래.
So to this omniscience, which knows things as they are, both truths exist. Both ultimate truth and phenomenal truth exist for that omniscience, and it knows them. But within the perspective of that omniscience, which is observing things as they are, the phenomenal truth does not appear, but rather it only observes ultimate truth within that perspective.
그래서 인간이 신앙이 저와 탐제 로베랑 신도 현라 세가나 천이 세비 시오 니랑 군족게 나와 로바데 메바데 돈이레 랑신레 돈바니지 랑신레 시가레 와
So within the perspective of that omniscience, which is observing things as they are, it is observing then the seeing the nature which is emptiness, ultimate truth, and not the phenomenal truths.
Oh yeah, that is 七级让心多别团没被团队怎么打呢？我们话切让给让心级多别团队，安尼没被团队怎么打呢？安尼这话他们就多把干呗，没把印象这话多嘛多个参加可能有嘛，这话他们就多把干呗。当年一千年的，当年个我的马学不的，
So since you have explain things in wrongly, you hear the realist having since you have grasped at the meaning of emptiness of essence as having the meaning of non-existence, then since that is contrary to the eradication of all elaborations, since that's contradictory to that, then you have not understood the definition of emptiness, or you could say you have not understood the nature of emptiness.
Oh, then me say so say. Now, one then you draw chuma. 我的妈，而且我们给电竞这把情况，可天天当把你都写，是吧的？电竞这把情况，现在让心去当把人，现在电竞这把情况，现在让心当把人，是个啦？安尼当比团的店面买人吧，电竞个团了出口个是吧？现在电竞这把情况，可天天当把你都写说堂，安尼多的来写的。 绿椒马州许多的，第一呢，看是见了就话天没见，天天节约上些越嘛也，见了让来看的当心中，看个写的，看的确的写的，怕有人在这个，这个，就见了结巴印章，让心情马结巴的，印章就见了结巴让心情马结巴印章，让心情马结为团的单位团的快没的，是吧？印章看是见了的话天没去写手机。 前两天我看这些人那样，见了让来把抗议被团体呢，他见了让来把印章，但让心就马主把的，出头去，俺那嘎达让了出头去让心没被团体写不起来，啊。
So, therefore, you having misunderstood the meaning of something being devoid of essence, and having grasped it as meaning non-existence, mistakenly grasped it as being non-existence, Since this is contrary to the elimination of all elaborations, you don't understand the definition of emptiness or the nature of emptiness. And this is because also below in this chapter, there's a verse that says, that which is dependent origination, we explain as emptiness. So there, emptiness is understood as meaning dependent origination, and not meaning mere non-existence as it's grasped at by the realists. And the rest of that verse will explain that as well. Then likewise, there's a sutra, which is in which the sutra, which is the sutra which was requested by a Naga king. And within that sutra, it says that which arises from conditions is not arisen. That which is born from conditions is unborn. Here, being not arisen or unborn refers to not being arisen or born from its own essence. So, and the sutra continues explaining Ganshu Kinli Ki Ganshu Kinli Maki
Kanshi Kienla Jewa Temeshi, Jujanla Khan Jewa de Rashinji Majebares, Kanshi Kienla Jewa Temajes.
That which is arisen from conditions or born from conditions is unborn.
Oh, Rashinji Majeva Yinza, Ani Jujanla Khan Jewa de la, Arawi Jewa Yova Mares.
So whatever is, depends upon conditions. Whatever is dependent upon conditions, since it's has a nature of it is
So
therefore, something that is unborn doesn't have the nature of not being dependent on conditions. So where the statement that that which is born from conditions is unborn means that if something is born from conditions, it's not born by means of its own nature or essence. And then the meaning of being dependent upon conditions is means that is explained as having the meaning of being empty, and this empty here refers to not having a being without a nature of being able to stand on its own. So the first line of this quotation from the sutra then says, whatever is born from conditions is unborn, and then the second line explains that being unborn means not being born or arising by means of its own essence. And something that is dependent on conditions is devoid of essence. So this is probably the clearest explanation of the meaning of emptiness.
sa dile la ba je tong ye sa tun zu me jin cho sa de jiang nan mi na te zam ji tong ye to wa song chen wo song wa de ra wo dan de di ma zhu xu ge do ge dan ba ma xin ji ane tong ye sa wa tun zu dile la ba ji tun zu yo ma de是吧 다 유진진 소사도 장기 내면에 안에 특제되게 되나 상로 땅잖아 안에 돈이 또 투구래 송.
So it's Jesun Jamba.
군단 점배.
Kundan Jambyang. The master from Kundang by the name of Jambyang, he said that there's no statement which is clear. There's no other statement in the sutras which is clearer as far as the meaning of emptiness is concerned, and that if one contemplates the meaning of this while one is engaging in the cultivation of merit and developing, in order to understand the meaning of this, one has to develop merit and eliminate the obscurations. Yeah, that quotation from the that sutra, the Anavatapta. Yeah.
人家东把电就给存的，电就东北存住，谁的？得送过来。电进这话穷，谁的？穷话咱马人把逐渐闲了，让马来我的干呀。让心去动是一个，让心去逐渐闲了，让马来把马些，按那样，刚说的闲了对吧？懂没得？电进这话送比这条抗议把天你。 So
it says, it says then that the meaning of the word dependent origination, that is the meaning of the word of being empty of essence. So here it's saying that things that arise in dependence. Rising in dependence entails that things necessarily rely upon causes and conditions for their arising, and that entails that they're empty of some kind of essence. So it but it's not the case then that emptiness, the sense of the word emptiness, has the meaning of a non-existent thing. Or a non-existent which is unable to perform a function. That is not the meaning of the word emptiness here.
Oh yeah. That is when we were chini, Ranshin ji be dona. That then me go chawa chini be o me ba jue. O me ba juru nyam du samne. O me ba Ranshin ji don be traden to trotane. O me ba de Ranshin don be traden. Ranshin ji don o ba me ba de. And that right to trotane. Ani uma wala nyanga mewe.
So therefore, you here, you is referring to the realists. You, by thinking that, by having thought that if something is empty of existing by means of essence, then it's a non-existent thing, non-existent, which is unable to perform actions, thinking that. I'm sorry. It would become a la chauchi nubi nubel mepar. Chauchi nubi. Nubel mepar.
Oh, Rashi ebe dona chawa chini ji o meba juros. Chaji chawa chini o meba. 오버나 라신도나 동나타 오버나 차와 친이 그 말에 세르와 그러와 다지가 달라 돈자르와 가지디다 군도나 중앙 미지바 메스나 시전이라와 춘이 라신지 예배 동나 다 차와 친이 좀 오면 봐 주로
So the idea realist here would think that thinks that if something is empty of existing by means of its essence, then cure.
오버 mendosan go 오버 mendosan go 와 오버 연ang 오버 라신지 요거래 라신지 메는 오버 메고래 상고
So you then would think that if something is empty of existing by means of its own essence, then it would obtain that there would be no thing which is able to perform a function, that things that perform functions would be non-existent. So thinking then that the total non-existence of things, of functioning things, is the meaning of the word empty of essence. Having exaggerated that emptiness into thinking it has that connotation, then you, by saying these kinds of, making these kinds of criticisms towards us, then you also don't understand the meaning of the word emptiness.
Oh yeah, that is Sumbati imbare, Rwa, Tadege, Tombani Jiton, Tombani to Sevi, Tombani Jiton, Matova set him. That Teda Kini, Ranshinji Mena, Jiang Meto, Oma Teda, Ranshinji Mena, Chinango over Jiang Meto, Yam to Samne. Ranshinji Mena, Chedi Mego, She Mawani, Ani, Umiton Matovare. 우미통 가르레스나 랑신지 매장 때내 매매고봐 탄예점도 저와 처음이봐 그봐 랑신지 매비 맨배 매바 대바 인자 체다 단tra 랑신지 매나 때내 매고가 판 탄예점도 저와 진이 요와 인장 안에 다 가소래 다다다다 다다저가 탄이자 랑신지 요바단 차와다 때내 매비 차와니까나 우미테 마도바 인상 랭가마위 루스템바 대담마와디 우미테 마도바레.
So these who are saying this, who say that by having thought that if things don't exist by means of essence, then what exists? What could exist? Having thought that, they think that having thought that, they say that if things don't exist by means of essence, then they have to be non-existent. So people who say that sort of thing not understand the meaning of the middle, what the middle is here. The middle here refers to the middle between two extremes, the extreme of existence in which things have to exist by means of their own essence in order to perform conventional functions, in order to operate within the context of conventional functioning. The other extreme is that things would be totally non-existent, such that, and likewise could not perform any kind of functions whatsoever. Did I get that right? No.
탄예도 여바 랑신지 매장 때내 매매고봐. 그봐 랑신지 매장 때내 매고봐 탄예도 여바라와. 이다디 그봐
So the avoidance of the two extremes is the middle position, which holds that if things are if things are even if they're devoid of essence, they are conventionally existent. And although things are conventionally existent, they don't exist by means of essence. They don't have some kind of essence. So that sort of not understanding the meaning of that middle, they're propounding a system which is saying these sorts of criticisms towards us, towards the Madhyamika, and well.
Rāngshīn jī mē sēwē tāk tā rāngshīn jī chūwa dē sē guwa rē tā bē tā yō tā rāwa yō tā dēne tānyā du yō sēwē rāngshīn jī mē tāng tānyā du yō sēwē rāngshīn jī mē sēwē tānyā du yō bā kō guwa rē tānyā du yō sēwē kē mē tā dē sēwē chē bē tā mē tā dē sē guwa rē
sē gu rē tānyā du
rāngshīn jī mē sēwē 딱 랑신기 매세가 딱딱 담바 랑신 추와데세 랑신기 매장 랑신기 매 세베게 타냐도 여바도 고고하래 타냐도 여베 아니 차다 메다세.
So saying that things are devoid of essence, don't exist by means of essence, causes one to avoid the extreme of extreme existence, to hold to the extreme of extreme existence. Saying that things exist conventionally enables one to avoid the extreme of annihilation or a nihilistic extreme.
우미 초점바 대배 대개만 완전 신도 밀어봐오. 스타 우미 초점바 우마 랑주 발라서바 대다기야 다가라 말이 와라. 랑시 주바 되고 인자. 우미 초점바자 대가만 와디 신도 밀 랑시 주바 캐레 그 말이 우마와 이나 우미 초점바 대다기야 아니 랑신지 동바 메비트도 캐레 그 말이 쓰고인 말이.
So, if one is wishing to hold the position of the middle, meaning if somebody is wishing to be a follower of the Madhyamika school, then saying that is extremely improper. Here, this is addressed towards some of the Swatantrikas and so forth, the autonomous school of Madhyamika, which Rangupala,
Rangyupa tegi uma cho zimbarwa uma rawa te jang umi cho zimbe jang zimba debe jang tega ma wa shidu miruso rangshi ji mena meko ma wa te shidu ma miris.
So for someone of that sort of position, for example, the autonomous school of Madhyamika, if someone who's holding that position was to say that if things don't exist by essence, then they're non-existent, that sort of statement, assertion that they would make would be extremely improper.
Oh yeah, that thing, jela. That yagi, uma wa ku chaba yonsa te. 저바디 영야지 근전 가와를 투바래 sana 루디 투모 마인 비데니 그나샤데 마도바 인자 테라 투바인 바 와. 니와 대달 저바에 데니지 마도바 땜바랑 아니 대바인지 테 마도바 인장 정간 되게 대바인지 테 마도바래 스타 대바인지 테 마도바 땜그라 다 데니기 천이 데니기 남샤 마샤고 와래.
So the people who are making those kinds of arguments against Madhyamika are doing so because they don't understand the two truths or two realities. So by not understanding the way in which the two truths or realities are presented within the Madhyamika school, they're making that sort of assertion. So in order to address that, one has, or to show how they don't understand the two truths, then there's a following presentation of this.
좀 된데 안에 소라 그 된이 미셔봐 아니 된이 된비 거와 아니 된이라 로바소마 그 님이 아니 된이 또 가와 땜바 또 가외 땜베 탐보 마뎀비 수 땜바니 So there's 5
subdivisions of this topic, which is the explanation or explanation of why that, or how it is that that argument arises from not understanding the two truths. And so this is subdivided into 5 subdivisions, which is the nature of the two truths which are not understood. How it is that if one doesn't understand the two truths, one does not understand the reality of the scriptures. Then the necessity for teaching the two truths, and the negative consequences of grasping the two truths or clinging to the two truths in a perverse manner. And then the fact that why it is that the Buddha did not teach these in the two truths in the beginning, because which is due to the two truths being difficult to understand.
Oh yeah, that is. Tambo, 在外边去对下巴的啦，我们为下边东巴你就国外党，东巴你就我党。 다시 숨이와 텐숨보대요. 거와라 소와 미시신도 아니 엄마와라 랭가마와티 수시 인세나.
So, first of these subdivisions is explained under the heading of an explanation of the meaning of the words that are taught in the root text, and this begins by saying that someone who is not understanding the purpose, the nature, the meaning of emptiness, as it's explained by the Madhyamika, and not understanding it makes this kind of criticism. Who are these, if you ask that question?
Bena 좀 된데기 콜로 파비네가 소샤바기 아니 대반이 남의 치지 말로 봐 미셔봐 그봐 아니 수럽지 좀 바시 되바는 봐 수럽지 좀 바시 좀 된바 렘비 랑데 남지 다 코란조 카요 말에 뭐마와 전도니 오되기 콜로 탐비네가 콜로 탐보 내가서 아니 대바 주바다 랑은 주바 때라 지난 공원나 라신지 주바랑 그 천이 주바 대바 주바 대바 예장 어디 슝 바시라 때네 슝 바시 흘렘비 랑다 남지 알샤바다르 나좀 된데기 콜업 담비 내가서 지난 공원 탐자랑 그 천이 주바 송화 인장 라신 주바 송화 인장 라신지 마주나 지난 거 몇거 송화 인장 다 뒤에서 장에 아예 다 주어라 좋아 내가 저거를 로 코란도 너데 장든 이래대 장든 임바 하고 말 코란지 내가 사모 동반이 내도 미롱위 도자 인장 코로 담비 쳐듯이 도자라라 돈이 땜바당 랑은 주와 땜바 이기 나네 도자들라 가래 팬토고 와래서 랑은 주와 마뎀바 랑그 천이지 매바 때나 아니 도자데 쳇달 송구와래 좋아 어디 쳐도 된 거래
뒤치를 된 거. 콜로 당보. 콜로 당보. So here it said that who is it that's making these accusations against the Madhyamika school? It's if you ask who they are, then it's those who, without properly understanding, without any kind of fault, the meaning of the two truths, which are the differentiation of the two truths, which is explained in the scriptures, but simply making effort at reciting the simple texts of the scriptures. And this here is referring to the scriptures which are taught in the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, in which phenomena are explained as being existing by means of their own essence or existing from their own side, being objectively established. They make effort at and devote themselves to the recitation of the mere texts of those scriptures, and they, based upon that, they make these kinds of arguments which were explained previously. Here, the scriptures which are taught in the first turning of the wheel of Dharma that are of provisional meaning, but they're taught with the intention of leading the disciples for whom they are intended gradually in the direction of understanding reality. For those disciples, they can't immediately comprehend the meaning of things being not existing by their own nature, but have to, as a provisional teaching, have to rely upon holding things as existing, as being existing by means of essence or established as real.
수라지 흉바식 대바술 한대 남지 아샤바다 고로시 균전 대이 체나 로면 파발루기 현지 수라지 대 로바 도바 차비칠 스타도 콜로 탐보기라 담비 제수잔 담비 장전지 콜로 탐보라 담바 티기 제수잔나 친한게 오남 랑게 천이 주와 진비 아니 로바 도바데 도바 차비칠 레시 손으로 땜비 대니지 치지 레시 손으로 땜비 대니 치지 말로베 남바샤베 왕도 자네 스타 대니데 잔데라 아니 좀 된대지 두자랑게 로저다 템바게 아니 대니 스탠요르와 어디순고아레다 산자님지 최단바 단바니다 안다 땡 산자님지 치주강 템바데 두자랑게 칸다 메와단 땜비 아니 대니를 떼내서 버치레스.
So, because of this, the Arya here, Arya Nagarjuna, in order to eliminate the perverse ideas, perverse understanding of those, in order to get rid of that sort of perverse understanding of the meaning of the scriptures that others have, he as a start, presented an unmistaken differentiation, or unmistaken presentation of the two truths as they're taught in the scriptures, and that is it begins in this verse of the root text where it says that the teaching, the Dharma instruction or Dharma teaching of the Buddhas, it rests upon the two truths. So maybe we'll stop there.